Hello, it's Charles Fockaert. October 5th, 2018. I welcome all of you. Thank you for supporting this channel. With a special thanks to those of you who support this channel in a special way. You know who you are. I want to thank you very much. Hey, wow, what a day yesterday. We made two trips from Glenn's Ferry in the middle of Idaho here to Twin Falls, where I am now. And I did something last night, not last night, the night before, that I've never done before. And I'll tell you about what I did here in a minute. But in all my last year and a few months now, I've spent the night in many, many, many different places. Parking lot of a laundromat, across the street from a laundromat, on the creeks up there in Montana, Clarence Creek, Stall Creek, etc., down in Nevada, down in on the Mesa, in the Spring Valley, etc., etc., etc. But last night I spent the night in a graveyard parking lot. And I got to walking around there. The sprinklers were on, so it made it a little more difficult. But I walked around there and I took some pictures, some photos, and I'm going to go over that in a minute. But I got to thinking about something, and I wanted to show you what that was. So let's go have a look at that, shall we? So there it is, the old mobile cabin is parked there, as you can see, in the parking lot of the Glen Ferry Cemetery. And I walked around and I looked at this. Now, these people obviously had some money, or apparently had some money, and I want you to notice one thing. They always put the year you were born and the year you die. The year you're born and the year you die. And that's always pretty nice to know when the person was born, his birth date, and then when he died. We use this date, I've noticed, quite a bit. You use this date, your birth date, for security purposes. They want to know your birth date, etc. It's on your driver's license. So we use that quite a bit, but we don't use this number too much. Now, this guy, Elmer, he died in the same year I graduated in high school. But I wanted to show, this is what this video is about, is this little dash in the middle between the year that we're born and the year that we die. This little hyphen there, or I like to call it a dash, because that's what it is. It's a dash. I ran high school track, and I ran the 100-yard dash and the 220-yard dash. And that's what it was. It was over pretty quick. It was over pretty quick. Here's another individual, 1934 to 2015. And you know what's important? You know what's important? What's important is what you do in between, what you do with your dash, what we do with our dash. And, you know, is our dash filled with helping others? Is our dash filled with words that we say to others to encourage them? Are we a help in the world, or are we a hindrance? Do we concentrate in our life on the important things? You know, the scripture says that what does it profit the man if he gain the whole world? That is, in that period of time, that little dash that we have. Do we go out and we try to gain the whole world? We gain the whole world but lose our souls. Do we do things that we shouldn't do in order to gain those things in the world? You know, there's I've noticed there's a couple kinds of people in the world. There's many kinds of people in the world, but there's two character traits that people have that separate this group of people. In other words, there's people who like to buy, and there's people who like to do. And the people who like to buy, they spend their dash working to accumulate things. They like to buy things. They find their joy and their happiness in the things that they buy, that they have. And there's nothing wrong. Now, don't get me wrong here, but it's the importance you place on the things that you have and what you do to get those things. That's what you do with your dash. What does it profit a man if he gain the whole world and lose his own soul? And then there's many people that think they're doing the right thing. And you get to the end of your dash, and they put that year on there that your dash was over. And you get to the next place, and you say, Lord, Lord, did I not do all these things in your name? And did I not prophesy? Did I not do this and this and that and the other thing? And he says, depart from me, I never knew you. For me, that makes me think very carefully about what I'm doing, because I think I can be doing the right thing. And when the time comes to take account, you find out you did the wrong things. There's a lot of, the scripture talks about there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth. Weeping and gnashing of teeth. And that's not necessarily from those who are not going to be in the kingdom, folks, or have no chance to get in the kingdom. This is a Christian identity channel here, and I try to focus on those things that are most important. There's a lot of things right now that I could be doing with my dash, but I choose to do this despite the number of views, despite the comments, the criticisms. I mean, there's a lot of people out there that don't have a good thing to say about anybody or anything, isn't there? I enjoy meeting people that are spending their time and their efforts on making their dash worthwhile and enjoyable, and in being able to hear what other people have to say, to give a helping hand when needed, give that encouraging word, make that phone call, give that gift. You know, you can't outgive God. God loveth a cheerful giver. Hello again. I'm going to put this in here as an insert. This morning I did a search because I wanted. We're going to leave tomorrow. We're going to drive towards Wells, Nevada, and I did a search for the weather and stuff. And the news came up. Some fella, 72 years old, driving a Jeep Wrangler, went over the middle line there, the center line, hit another fella coming the other way from Twin Falls, Idaho. He was 45 years old, I think. Hit him. He was pulling a trailer. The guy that got hit was pulling a trailer. The trailer unconnected from the vehicle, and the guy that got hit, he died. Wearing a seatbelt and all that, he died. And the other guy that hit him was okay. So the fellow that got hit from no fault of his own, his dash was over. And the point I want to make with this is, we don't know when your dash is going to be over. It could be over any time. And I'll give you one example from Scripture. The man who had, he had barns, and he had too much. He couldn't The barns wouldn't hold it, so he tore the old barns down and built newer and bigger barns. And his life was required of him that day. His dash was spent in the wrong way, and you never know when your dash is going to be over, do you? Anyway, I hope this is helpful to you. It certainly was helpful to me. You know, wait a minute, I got someone knocking on my door here. Hold on. So, alrighty, I'm back. This is Glen Rest Cemetery in Glens Ferry, Idaho. And I had an interesting evening. There was an owl up in this tree during the night, hooting. And that was interesting. And very calming effect. Well, this is where we're going to end up, folks. Either here or one of those urns for those who get cremated. But at the end of our dash, this is what's going to be all that's left, unless we have an influence with what we do, by what we do with our dash. And I want to thank you for your support of this channel. And this is where I lose a lot of people and they don't want to come back. May the grace of God, see, this is what I'm doing with my dash. May the grace of God, our Father Yahweh, the creator of the Caucasian race, the God who made a covenant with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and the Israelites, may His grace be upon us all, for we most certainly need it. See ya.